Hello everybody, Cody here, Minimus Wargaming, back with you guys with this tutorial on how to do my Idoneth Deepkin's water bases. So a lot of you guys have been asking me for weeks on how to do it, so I've finally gotten enough time to finally sit down and describe you guys and get pictures of how to do it, a step-by-step process. So without further ado, we're just going to jump straight into it. So it's not a very complicated process, but I kind of doubt everybody's going to have everything that you need right at the get-go. So you guys may have to go to your local hobby shop and try and find it. If not, go to a store like Hobby Lobby or any other craft and supply store and try and find what you need. So to start things off, you're going to obviously need your base. And the first thing you're going to need for paints is going to be Thousand Suns Blue. You're going to need Waywatcher Green as a glaze. You're going to need Gulliman Blue on top of that, and then you're going to need just White Scar. And that's all the paint you would need. Now, moving on from that, whenever you go to first start, picture's going to pop up on the screen now. You're going to need to use Vallejo Earth Texture. It's an acrylic. So it looks just like what I have pictured on the screen right now. So basically, I got that from Goldmine Games. Mike there does have a whole bunch of hobby supplies. I don't know if most hobby shops do, so you guys may have to go to somewhere or even go online and see where you can get it retail or order it. Either way, from then on, you're going to need a thing of realistic water from Woodland Scenics. It's pictured on the screen as well. They do make, I think, at least 2 different size bottles. I just got the 16 fluid ounce one, or 473 milliliters, depending on where you're at. And that has worked fine, and I'm still nowhere near out of it. So I've had it for quite a while, and it's gone well. So to start things off, you're going to want to take that Vallejo Earth Texture and take a texture tool or any kind of old crappy paintbrush, and you're going to want to paint it in just really whatever pattern you wish all over the base. What I like to do is, as pictured on the screen, you can kind of see there's a certain texture I was going with. You just kind of maneuver it around, and you just kind of let it dry from wherever you like. So if you want it to look more choppy water, you just shove it around and get it to point up a little bit everywhere. It's just like any other texture paint, but this is very dark. You'll see why in just a moment. So whenever you are done and you're satisfied with how it looks, you just got to let it dry. Depending on how much you put on it will affect its drying process. So whatever you do, don't touch it. It is pretty messy if you guys do touch it, so just wash your... Sorry guys, I had to cough there for a second. So just wash your hands, and yeah, you should be good. It won't like stain you or anything, I don't think, but if it does dry on you, it'll stick to you. So that's it. There's 2 different pictures you guys will see of how the texture looks. So if you want to smooth it out, just take your texture tool and just kind of pat it down. And if you don't want to smooth it out, I'd recommend using probably a paintbrush to give it more of a texture, to make it look like actual water. So once that's nice and dry, you're going to want to load up your paintbrush with a whole bunch of Thousand Suns Blue and paint the entirety of it completely that color. So you don't have to be too thorough with it. You can see on the picture there are some spots I left out just to give the water a little bit more of a deep look, because water isn't just a solid color, as you all should know by now. So that's pretty much it. There's really nothing more to describe about Thousand Suns Blue. You just paint all that texture you put down, once it's dry of course, Thousand Suns Blue, and you move on. From then on, you're going to take a dry brush, load it up with White Scar, make sure you have as little bit of paint on that brush as possible, because it is a dry brush after all. And you're going to want to find the raised textures on your surface and dry brush them white. So as you guys can see here, I just kind of went really berserk with it to speed paint it and show you guys what it would look like. So that basically is what it looks like. So if you guys don't want to use the Woodland Scenics water effects, this is what the base will look like just like that, which I don't think looks half bad anyways. But I didn't decide to settle there. So nobody taught me this. I just trial and error, and I think I wasted a good like 10 bases trying to do this process. So then last but not least, the next step you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take Waywatcher Green and Gulliman Blue and fill it into a dropper bottle that is already filled with the realistic water. So what you're going to want to do is find a little dropper bottle like the one I have pictured here on the screen. It doesn't have to be excessively large or small, I'd recommend just getting a little small one so you don't waste too much. And then take that dropper, load it up with Waywatcher Green, spray it into the bottle that's filled with that realistic water, and then take the dropper, rinse it out nice and thorough so you don't contaminate your paints, and then fill it up with Gulliman Blue and spray it into the bottle. You don't have to do that in any order. You can do Gulliman Blue and then Waywatcher Green or vice versa, like I said. Doesn't matter. Once it's all in there, be sure to seal it up nice and tight. Give it a good shake, and it's going to end up looking somewhat like this color that is on the screen. If you guys want it darker, you're going to need to add more Gulliman Blue. If you guys want your water to look more lighter, add just a little bit more green. But you got to be real careful, because if you do add too much green, it's going to obviously start looking very green. So just keep that in mind. So that's pretty much it. So the next picture you guys are going to see is the finished product. So I gotta really explain to you guys how this works. So whenever you fill that dropper full of water, you're going to sit there and go one at a time, just filling it up, that entire surface with that water. The lower the quantity in that little dropper gets, the more bubbles are going to start to build up. If you guys do get bubbles on the base, don't freak out. Just push it around with the end of the dropper and you should be able to pop them. Do not let the surface dry with bubbles, because bubbles don't exactly ever dry. They're always going to have a big chance of popping. So whenever they do pop, you're then going to have a big hole in the base, and people are going to be able to see right through it and see the earth texture, and it's going to mess up the whole base, and you'll have to redo that one specific part. So try to minimize the bubbles. It's not the end of the world. If it does get little bubbles, it's fine, but try to prevent big bubbles. As you go through it, you're just going to want to push it around with that dropper, and it's not going to harm anything, and just let it go in whatever pattern you wish. And once that entire base is filled and you're happy with it, leave it alone, and do not, I say again, do not touch it at all with your fingers. If you're going to poke it, do it with any kind of tool other than textured things like your fingers. If you do touch this water effect while it's in the middle of drying and you touch it with your bare fingertip, you're going to leave a big fingerprint on it, and it's going to ruin the entire thing. And it's very annoying. Trust me, I learned that the hard way. So as it dries, it only takes a few hours depending on how thick you applied the water. So if you guys want to like build up a wave of water, what you're going to want to do is you apply that texture, let it dry, apply it again, let it dry, and just keep going from there, and then you apply the water. Now, as the water goes, once it starts drying and it's fully dried, you can apply more water to it to kind of stack it. However, it does obviously get more and more complicated as it goes, so I don't recommend trying to overdo it too much. Apologies if you guys hear my daughter in the background, but I'm trying to record here. So with that being said, that's really it. So that's the finished product, and that's what your base should look like. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. But like I said, all you're going to need is that Vallejo earth texture. You're going to need Waywatcher Green, Gulliman Blue, the water effects from Realistic, or Woodland Scenics, the realistic water. And then you're going to need White Scar and Thousand Suns Blue. And you're going to need just any kind of texture tools and old paintbrushes, and that's it. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys in the next video.